Hi, this is Cherie with Rehash Fiber. I want to take you on a really cool journey from meeting the magnificent sheep named Steel all the way through all the processes until we have a beautiful Isabell Kraemer sweater. You're in for a little bit of storytelling before this all gets started. Last August, I was in Eureka, Montana. Eureka is a small town just 7 miles south of the Canadian border. To get there, you need to fly into Spokane, Washington, and make the lovely drive over. It's about 3 to 4 hours. I went there for a fiber festival. I had never been to a fiber festival before, and I was dying to go, and everything last summer kept canceling, and I thought, hopefully Montana will stay. They're in the country, it's Montana, and it canceled, but I decided to go anyway. So on my last morning, I was able to get a meeting with Justin of Michael's Mountain Sheep on his farm. And the setting was just beautiful. It was really hot there. They say there's 4 real seasons in Eureka, Montana, which is interesting because I would think that far north it'd be cool a lot, but they were having a very hot summer day. It was beautiful. There's mountain ranges in the distance, hills in the mid, and I met up with Justin. He is a wonderful man who really cares about his sheep, and he gave me the tour of his farm. And at one point, he started to talk about his most special prized sheep, and that is Steel. Now, Justin crossbreeds East Friesians with Icelandics, and there's a whole show on me visiting his farm, which he explains the reason for doing that. But in crossing those two, he makes Michael's Mountain Sheep.
Now there's a ram in here I really want to get a hold of. He's our #1 Michael's Mountain Sheep. Come here, Steel. Good. See what we're breeding for. Just really excellent horn growth, but then his fiber is some of the most sought after of any that we've created in the mix, because he has no tog. He's 3/4 Icelandic, but in the breeding process it came through absolutely perfectly for this gorgeous kind of a gunmetal gray. He's very much gunmetal gray on the bottom, but he has this luster and twist, kind of a crimp. If I can get it to pleat over. There you go. So you can kind of see that that gray, just a beautiful gray, just nice crimp, but just gorgeous fleece. And you know, he's got a great attitude. Beautiful, beautiful horn set. Perfect structure for what we're breeding for.
So when he introduced me to Steel, I was like, this is one great sheep. He was beautiful. And it was a really special thing because I got to be out there with the sheep in their environment. We were out in the Montana countryside. They are fenced in, but you don't see the fences because they're just wire, but you just see the beautiful rolling hills and the mountains. And I got to see Steel in his environment. So where he was crossing under a fence line and scratching his back, and where he was butting heads or horns with another sheep over some food. And the really amazing thing is Justin let me put my hand through the fence and into his wool, into Steel's wool. And let me tell you what, it was like, woo, fantastic. Just really cool. Because as fiber artists, we love it. We love touching the fiber and all of that. Well, when you get to touch it right where it starts from this really cool sheep, it's like mind-blowingly great. So after our wonderful time together, and he shared so much of the good stuff on the farm, I told him, hey, do you have any fleece for sale? I'd love to buy just something as a memento from my experience here. And as Justin was digging through all the fleeces that he has in his storage room, I felt bad because it was really hot out and it was even hotter in that room. So I kept telling him, anything's fine, anything you put your hands on is fine, I'll just take it, whatever, it's okay. He says, no, I'm digging for something special. And a little bit later, he came out with Steele's fleece. And I was like, oh, I have to have that, and I have to have enough to make a sweater. So I got the fleece from this magnificent Michael's Mountain sheep in Montana, and I couldn't have been happier. Now, when Justin was talking and Steele was walking through the farmyard, he was saying how his fleece doesn't smell and all that. Well, I have to tell you, when I was transporting it, it did smell. It's okay. That's nothing new or surprising to me. It smelled like a sheep barn with all its intense aromas. And so I kept it in the trunk of the car, and I was a little concerned on my journey back to Spokane when I'd get out a few times and do things where there's other people, and I thought, I still smell that smell. Do I smell like that smell? Because I'm like, oh, they're gonna think this woman stinks. I think it was just in my nose. So anyway, then I get to Spokane and I'm like, nope, this stays in the trunk because I don't want to get a bad Airbnb review saying the ladies left the place smelling like a barn. So Steele stayed in the trunk. And then on the flight home, I could only check one bag. So I had to check the heavier suitcase with all the liquids in it, and Steele came with me. So I thought, all this social distancing and mask wearing is going to help me out here because I'm carrying a smelly guy. He was in a bag. I say he. His fleece was in a bag, inside a duffel bag. Still, there was some aroma coming through. I was tickled to death to have him. Again, I was hoping people thought it wasn't me that was stinking. I didn't come across any negative situations, so hopefully it wasn't that bad. But he did travel with me home. So what I want to do now is just take you on the really fun journey because I wanted to experience this for myself and have it documented of what is it like to be with that sheep in this environment, taking it all the way through to a fantastic garment that I will be thrilled to wear. First time for me, so it's super exciting. Now, for those of you that are shepherds and fiber artists, you lucky people get to do this. But this was a first and it was fantastic. So come along and join me as we go through this process. There's a lot of vegetable matter in it. Lots of grass I can see. Then 3 fleeces go through the cement bucket, so it's really ripe and works really good now. Leave it there for a couple weeks and maybe we'll have a pretty clean fleece. Well, Steele's wool has been in the cement barrel here for about a week. It's time to get the fleece out, rinse it up, and then give it a couple of good washes. Very smelly. I've been working my way through picking the fleece of steel. This bin was completely chock full of his fleece. And it's been a very slow process because I've done it all by hand under this light, picking the vegetable matter out so that I will get a nice cloud like this ready to make a bat. As I sit here for hours and hours doing this, it is quite relaxing. And it's fun to see the dirt and vegetable matter fall out of it and just know that it's steel. It's pretty cool. And you know what, it just reminds me of when I was a little kid. My dad restored old cars, and he was restoring a 1929 Model A. And I can remember when I was 5 or 6, wondering how my dad could sand a fender all day long. Because as a little kid, you know, you're bouncing around doing so many things throughout the day. And my dad would just be sanding and kind of in the zone. And that's how I can explain this. I can pick this fleece all day, feel relaxed and happy, and know that I'm making progress and getting somewhere. And it does help that I know steel. So it's kind of cool. So anyway, it's a process, all right, but it's worth it. Steel's nicely picked fleece is now going into the drum garter. Can't wait to see how his fur looks all organized. All right, look at that long, nice staple. That's gonna be great. I love dizzing off of the drum carter and making bird nests because they're easy to work from. So I'm gonna start with doing that. This part's really fun because if the fiber has been worked up right, it will just come through here like warm caramel. It's just really fun. And then you make a nice long bit of roving. Nice and easy to work with. Kind of naturally broke into place, so it's a good time to make the bird's nest. And just roll it up. Nice, that's a big one. Big and thick, and it'll be great to spin from. Perfect. It has been very fun spinning up Steel's fleece. And it makes a big difference when you know the animal and there is an experience that goes with it. All right, we're moving right along. It feels so good because to me, two of the most lengthy processes are done. The preparation with the picking and the carding, and then the spinning. Well, the spinning part is super fun, but what's really fun is to see this project keep on going and see how it's going to turn out. So this is Olive Steele's fleece right here with a little bit extra for sampling. What I was hoping there would be enough of is I needed 1,225 yards to make a cardigan, and we're at 1,400, so that is looking so good. What I wanted to do is I like this gray, I think it's pretty, but I do not know if over time that I'm just going to want to keep seeing the gray. I want to add something to it. So I thought about what would I do, and I'm going to add some color. So I am going to dye this. But I'm going to start with a sample first to make sure I like it. Because I didn't want the dye too dark, I want it light enough that I can still see the different shades in Steele's fleece, but yet have some color that makes it pop and make it more inviting for me to want to wear the cardigan. So we're going to do that today. I'm very excited. It's fun because the dyeing process will take a day, and as soon as the yarn is dry, I can start knitting. So super exciting. Let's see how the dyeing process works. I chose the dye Delphinium Blue. It looks like it's going to be kind of light, not too baby bluish, just a nice blue that I can add to Steele's fleece. So hopefully it works out okay. It only took me about 10 minutes of looking at the dyed fleece of Steele outside, dyed it with the Delphinium Blue, and I like it. So I can see the whole sweater in that. It also helped when I came back in and I saw the gray and I thought, nope, I love this pop of color, and so we're gonna go for it. So I've got one of the skeins in here and we are going for it. It was so much fun dyeing Steele's fleece. All 1,400 yards of it right here. Gorgeous. Once it dried, perfect. I fell in love with it. It's kind of like a denim. I wanted that tonal color because Steele's fleece, there were some lighter grays and some darker grays. So I wanted that to show in the yarn after the dyeing process. And it does. And this kind of reminds me of denim. So I think it's gonna be a really fun sweater. So you guys, this is why we do this. All that picking, all that spinning, which those have their soothing, relaxing properties. But then there's this bolt of excitement. We've got yarn, colorful, fun yarn. And the next thing is to knit. So great. Last night, I worked up the swatch for the pattern that I had had my eye on this whole entire time, and it didn't work. However, I had another pattern on backup just in case. Both of them are from Isabell Kraemer, but Meriton was the one that I'd hoped to do. Both of them are cardigans. When that didn't work, because it needed to be a finer yarn, and this still ended up being a worsted weight, the one that I had on backup was Alpengluhen, Alpine Glow. So fun. Worked up the swatch for that. It works. We're gonna get going on it today. So excited. It's done. It's complete. I am so excited and I am 100% happy. It came out the way I wanted it to. The pattern is by Isabell Kraemer and it's Alpengluhen, which is alpine glow. And I just want you to see how the shading worked out with Steele's variances in his gray. When I used this blue, it just took different in different places. And it kind of gets stripy in some areas. And I'm glad because I wanted a sweater that had variety in it. Now, it also had variety as far as my spinning because I'm not a perfect spinner. So some is thicker, some is thinner, and it worked out okay. Now, my advice to you, and you see all the time and energy that was involved in this, and emotion. When you make something, finish it off with great buttons or whatever it calls for, make it great. So I picked up these pewter buttons from the store. I think they're really nice. I wanted a classy button, a little bit Celtic looking, and I think it really just tops it off well. So I think the cables in here just add extra flair to it. And I do need to tell you that when I use double point needles in the sleeves, I tend to knit a little bit tighter. So what I did is this pattern is for a small, but I did these for a large. Now, mind you, that only added 4 extra stitches per sleeve, but I needed that room for when I have a little bit of bulk underneath that my arm will still fit. So the sleeves were a large. So thank you, everybody, to Steele the Magnificent Sheep, Justin his shepherd, and of course, Isabell Kraemer for the pattern, and all the fun that I had in between going through this process was just a great experience. So now I just get to have fun wearing it. All right, everybody, happy knitting, and thanks for watching. All right, I have a little bit extra for you today. To say thank you to the Patreon members, when I have extra supplies, I will create a post and just put them on there for free. You just have to pay the shipping, and that's within the US only. So sometime next week, I'm gonna be putting the Noro on there. This is Noro pencil roving. You just need to message me, then pay for the shipping. I'll take that post down and get these shipped to you. So these are valued at $20 each. And like I said, it's Noro, and the color is 1029 Rainbow Roll. So look for that next week. And I'll do that periodically as I have stuff. And that truly is just a way to say thank you. Because actually, if you join Patreon, please join in knowing that by doing so, you're doing it to support the show. So as little as $3 a month, it adds up when multiple people do it. It helps me pay for the monthly fees that I have to keep the show going. But I like to say thanks by giving away extras, giving you extra information, specials I might come across, patterns I really like, things like that. I'm also going to start putting travel itineraries on there because I travel for fiber. And I'm thinking maybe you guys like to travel for fiber too. And you would like to know what was done. Now, a lot of times I'm visiting with people that they're not open to the public, they're creators or such, but I will let you know what's going on in that place and what you can do. So like for instance, Phoenix, you could go to the Herd Museum. You definitely need to check out Tempe Yarn and Fiber. And if you like to hike or walk around in the beautiful Arizona desert, I have some of those in there too. So that's some of the extra stuff that will be on Patreon. Okay, then a completely separate subject. If you are a spindle spinner, I am calling on any and all of you. Here's what I want to do. For 2020, I did the year of the spindle, and it was just me all over the place, spinning on my paddleboard, hiking to the top of mountains, parks, wherever. Enough of me. I want to show what the people are doing in the world. So wherever you are in this world, take your spindle and show me the neat and interesting places that you go. And it doesn't have to be on a paddleboard. Don't do anything risky, but show us something cool that maybe we all don't get to see, and that you're spinning with your spindle, which that's part of the joy of those, is that we can take them everywhere. So what I'm asking you to do is send me a very short clip. And I would say, 15, 20 seconds of the best of what you're doing. Also, please include your first name and where you're spinning. That way I can include that when I put the show together in your clip, so that now we can see where each other has been spinning. So anyway, please do that. And that's going to be ongoing every year. Now, if I don't get enough for this year, 2021, then I will collect them for the next year. But hopefully now I'm starting to talk about it. Hopefully people will send me some video clips of spinning. So please keep those two things in mind. And thanks for watching.